the Pharisees showed so much excitement about coming to the Simbang Gabi masses because of the singing of the different choirs, and this boy was amazed with the lively homilies of his pastor, and also, of course, the great hospitality that comes after each of the masses. And so he would always come every night, but there's one thing that he hated in the mass. It's the long prayer that the priest adds during the prayers of the faithful. And when the priest begins the prayer, as if it will never end, and that's the part that he hated most. One Sunday, his mother invited this priest for lunch in their home. And the mother invited the priest to lead the prayer before the meals. And the boy said, "Oh no, there will be more praying than eating." And so the priest started his prayer. "Bless us, O Lord, this meal may provide strength for us to continue our service for the greater glory of your name. Amen." And then he made the process. So the boy was wondering, you know why this priest said a very brief prayer? So wondering, he asked. And so the priest answered, "Young man, you don't go around the bush when you are hungry." You know, dear friends, we, not just Philippines, are hungry for the coming of Christmas. No wonder in the Philippines we are considered as perhaps holding the longest holiday season, Christmas holiday celebration. We start early, and in fact, we intensify that celebration to the 9 days Simbang Gabi masses. And this is our hunger. We don't want to go around the bush, but we want straight answers and preparation in celebrating Christmas by having this Mass. And so I'd like to dwell in my homily tonight the significance of the Simbang Gabi and its relevance to our spirituality as Christians. Now, when we hear the word spirituality, it overwhelms us. You know, sometimes we just don't want to talk about it because, Father, how can we talk about spirituality? We are not even priests. We are not even monks living in monasteries. We are not even sisters. So, again, it's about understanding what the word spirituality is. And how Simbang Gabi can help us deepen our spirituality. And so, the simple definition of spirituality is, it is simply the way of following Christ that you and I, lay people and priests, need to do anyway. And our own way of following Christ is our own spirituality. And if we do not know the way to deepen that understanding of following Christ, then our spirituality is very shallow, very fickle. And so my prayer is that during this Simbang Gabi, we may find a way to deepen our way of following Christ, deepen our spirituality. And so, dwelling in the readings, I found this one way to follow Christ. By looking closely at this example, that if we follow Christ, we reach our destination. Because Christ himself knew why, and what he came for. That means he was sent by God for a mission. And that was Jesus' spirituality. Everything that he spoke, everything that he did, everything that he performed, miracles, are all because he knew God asked him to do that. That is a deep way looking at our own spirituality. So when we Christians, whether we are priests, sisters, married, single, young and old, we all follow a certain spirituality or discipleship, a manner of following Christ. But you know what? Even we are all in different states of life, we are all here to one destination, to be with our Father in heaven. And so this means that every people are called to discipleship or following Christ in their marriage, in their faithfulness to one another, in their love for each other. This means that priests, we place our call to discipleship in following Christ in the priesthood by our commitment to serving the church. This means that sisters and brothers in the religious life are called to discipleship by following Christ, by living certain counsel and the ministry in the context of a religious life. However, even if we are all have our own respective way of following Christ, there's one thing that somehow cannot be taken away from us. That is our context of our personhood, our own cultures. This means our respective manner of following Christ is certainly influenced by our own culture, by our own uniqueness as individuals. This means we bring in our desire to follow Christ the lights and shadows, the plus and minuses, the goodness and the wickedness, our selflessness and pride, our health and illnesses, and so on. All these mixtures in our own lives and culture affect the way we follow Christ. And so, dear friends, the following of Christ will purify our culture, and at the same time, our culture will add dynamism and energy in our desire to follow Christ. And our SIMBANG GABI is part of that culture that we want to deepen our way of following Christ. That is why in the readings today, Jesus is simply telling us, the words that the Father gave me to accomplish this work that I perform, that testify on my behalf, have been sent to me by my Father, by the Father in heaven. Therefore, dear sisters and brothers, our SIMBANG GABI should remind us of our mission-oriented spirituality. There is always a reason why we are Christians. And before we can be able to answer that question, perhaps we can answer this basic question. Why are we here in the United States? All of us are all immigrants who came 40, 50, 60 years ago from the different parts of Europe. Or perhaps we who came from the Philippines ask ourselves, why are we here? Maybe just like many other Filipinos who went to the different parts of the globe, in the Middle East, in Europe, in the United States, have one common answer. Maybe we are here in search for better jobs or better opportunities to live the American dream so that we can support our families back home. A common reason that we can easily give as an answer why we are here. However, as Christians who try to live a kind of spirituality following Jesus, we find a deeper answer than that. After attaining the American dream, after having stable jobs and stable future, stable insurance, retirement,